Hello and welcome to the Curator Salon podcast. I'm Geeta Joshi, and in this hopefully short episode I just wanted to talk about a few things related to mindset and energy that can support your art career. I recently did a post about coolers. Coolers are people that are employed in usually Las Vegas casinos, but casinos all over the world really, where the house hires these coolers who basically have a very low vibration, very low energy, and they are hired to go and stand by people who are on a winning streak in order to disrupt that good luck or that energy that the player is having. And the cooler, there is a film actually I don't know who it's by, but the character is William H. Macy, and it's called The Cooler. And obviously, of course, with it being a Hollywood movie, through the course of the movie, his outlook on life kind of improves and all that kind of thing. But it kind of gives you the concept, right? Somebody that is cooling the vibe, that is taking people off their winning streak. And I just want you to be aware of people that might be coolers in your midst. Because as you find momentum and growth in your art career, as you find opportunities, as you start setting more of a vision and finding yourself just moving forward towards the things that you want, right? Whether it's the sales, the goals, the opportunities, the visibility, all those sorts of things, you soon understand that there's a mindset and energy component that goes with this. Many artists explore ideas of our infinite potential or intuition and things like this. And this is really part of it. So, when you become aware of that, you also start realizing, like, actually my outlook, how I view things, what I see as my own potential, what I see as potential for my career and, other people, the people you're around, all starts to change, and you kind of start seeing more and more possibility for you. But this is where the cooler usually comes in and literally throws a wet blanket over the situation. And this can look like people that are doubting what you are doing. They are questioning if you are capable. They might question your pricing and all these sorts of things. Now, this is really something to look out for, and, making sure that you're maybe just, talking to the right people, about these aspects of your art career, and, putting yourself in groups, or, whether it's coaching containers or collectives or crit groups and things like that are actually supportive towards where you want to go, because that negative energy just can weigh really heavy. If that is lingering on your mind, it's literally contaminating your energetic field and making you doubt yourself, and that is going to hold you back from where you want to go and where you deserve to be going. So the coolers are the people that will make you doubt your vision, and they just don't have the same perspective as you do, right? Usually people are making art, they're doing something that nobody asked them to do. And along the way, they kind of learn how, you can show your art, what you might need to do beyond actually the art making, what marketing looks like for you. And everybody's marketing journey is different. But again, this is where, somebody that can come in as a cooler and basically, really bring down the vibe. And often they, their own, not just their outlook, but it is very much a reflection of what they are experiencing in their own life. So it's really important that you kind of protect yourself and your own energy from these things. So just making sure that you're, whatever that looks like for you, right? Whether it's you're editing the conversations you're having with those people, or you're reducing contact with them, or if they are more professional contacts and things like that, right? Maybe, if you're in a membership or something like that, then just making sure that you are not absorbing other people's negative energy. Because when we are doing things like most artists that are having an art career, this is not something that you've done before. I know people that have switched career, but when they were in their corporate careers, they had evidence, I suppose is the word, of other people that had kind of walked that path before. There's an organizational structure. There are, the opportunities for promotion or something like that might be much more evident. But with your art career, for most people that are having an art career, they're also starting their own business, right? This, if they've come out of jobs or something, but it's the first time they're actually they're building their own business and actually realizing what goes into it. And there is so much more than the art making, as you know, right? There's the networking, there is that building the contacts, there is the marketing side, right? And your own fears of visibility and things like that. The pricing, right? It's much easier to charge prices that you feel very aligned with rather than what other people think you should be able to get. But if they are not actively buyers or people that are in the industry, then they wouldn't be the right people to be taking that sort of advice and input from. So, just being kind of aware that you're on this journey of like building out your art career, your art business, and it isn't something you've done before. And along with this goes this idea of, evidence and faith and trust. So a lot of times callers are basically basing their opinion on, either negative experiences they've had, negative experiences that they have seen other people have, and whether that is in their life or it is in forums. You see these kind of Facebook groups and threads posts and all the sorts of things where people are complaining about something or other. And it's fine to take the lesson from it, but you want to look at your own business, your own situation, and think, right, okay, is that have I just learned something that I can just make sure that I can mitigate, right? Maybe that just looks like having terms and conditions on your website, for example, right? So you're not getting returns and chargebacks and things like that. Maybe you just need to put in terms and conditions because you saw a threads post. So just taking what you need to learn to improve yourself rather than going, oh my God, I don't want to get really popular, or I don't want to go viral because then I'll get all these hate comments or something. So making sure you're becoming more and more aware of what could potentially be in the way and heading it off at the pass, obviously. Just to reiterate this point some more, the human mind is highly influenced by the surroundings and the people we surround ourselves with. What's that phrase? You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with, or the 5 people that you hang around with the most, or you see the most, or something like that. So making sure that, you start building this circle of people that are actually supportive towards you and actually support your individual and unique vision for your own life and your own business. Now, a related thing to pay attention to is, again, it kind of relates to the caller archetype that I've now created, is, who is that, what is your relationship with that person? So as I say, if they're in professional kind of environments, like let's say you're in a membership or in a business group or something like that, you probably won't come across those people because everybody that joins those environments and those communities are usually there because they're motivated. But if it is somebody that is within the family circle or in the friend circle, sometimes we might have given them more authority over our lives, right? We place a lot of weight on their opinion. We really believe them. And that, again, this goes back to the environments that we're in and, being very influenced as humans by the people that we are around, right? We know that people are influenced about who they're around, right? This is simply how indoctrination and all these sorts of things, right? Political persuasion and, racial biases and all these sorts of things exist, right? This is not something that we intuitively have as babies, but it is then taught. And this kind of continues even into our adult life. And as we kind of change direction, if you're building out your art career, maybe you are somebody that's had a job before, you just want to make sure that you are, also aware of how much importance you are putting on particular people and the opinion that they carry or the influence that they carry over your life. And again, this is something just to be aware of so that you can essentially, there are techniques and things, right? But you need to just be able to find ways of like reducing the significance of their opinion over your own opinion. Because again, as any business owner will tell you, and it's not just artists, that your intuition is really important in helping you make the right choices, and even if you can't quite articulate the path that you want, you might be able to hopefully articulate and, have in your crosshairs the next few steps for your art career. So maybe that is galleries, or it is you need to get up, improve your digital online presence, or it is, how you're going to sell work, or, whether this fair is right for you or that fair. A lot of times, your decision is going to be based on intuition, and then, it is supported by, evidence of, let's say you were going to go for a gallery or you're going to sell through an art fair, then, you would want to see, like, is that a good art fair? Am I having good and clean communication with them? Have other people had a successful time there? But it's not usually solely based on that. There is an intuitive part in this decision making as well. And if you are heavily influenced by somebody that's saying, oh, that's a massive investment and it's going to be really hard to sell this many paintings or recover your money or whatever, then, all of this is going to turn you off when actually, as an artist, you might be aware that, well, I really should be doing this fair 3 times, or I know that this is the city that I want to be discovered in, or I know that this is the city where my work would resonate the most. And some of this is all like intuitive for you as you kind of expand your awareness of what is possible for you. I think most people want the best for you, but not everybody knows what you are actually capable of. So inside my program Activation, we cover this, and we talk about how to keep your vibe, your vibration, your energy higher so you don't succumb to these sorts of influences, and how you can actually stay in that higher vibration that is going to be way more magnetic for you to get the opportunities, the collaboration, the funding, the sales, the clients, all the things. So that is what we cover inside Activation. It is a mindset and energy program rather than a business program, so I should add that. And I will add the link in the show notes, and I'll see you over on Instagram.